Hi, this is Elijah with Agri Drones, here with Nathan. We're going to be showing you how to winterize your drone as well as get your drone and your batteries ready for storage. So here we've got a product here, and we're going to focus on using the spray tank first, or cleaning out the spray tank first. You can use a product like a Race, but usually what we recommend doing, if you don't want to do that, is you can either use some Dawn dish soap, or you can just run straight water, 4 to 5 full tanks through the tank right here. That'll clean out the pumps, that'll clean out with the spray system, that'll clean out all the arm hoses, that'll make sure that everything's just got water flowing through it and there isn't any more chemical left over. You'll want to make sure to clean your spray system out before you clean the rest of the drone off as well, so that way you don't get pesticide residue all over the drone. So next, what you'll want to do is you want to take out these filters right here, like the inlet filter or the outlet filter in the back. Now to clean those, what you can do is you can put them in a bowl of warm water with Dawn dish soap and a brush. You can clean them off. That outlet tank there at the bottom can kind of be a pain sometimes to get out, so if you need to, you can reach down into the tank and pop it out yourself, and just pop it straight back outward. We'll go ahead and put those back in. This is going to finish up how to clean the spray system. We'll have a more in-depth look at how to clean the pumps and take the pumps apart later on in the video if you want to go a step further and make sure that's clean. But next we're going to go ahead and start looking at how to clean the drone itself. So the number one thing you're going to want to make sure of when you're cleaning your drone off is to not pressure wash it. Usually we use a simple degreaser like Simple Green here. We spray it on the body of the aircraft, on some of the heavily used areas where there's going to be a lot of pesticide residue that builds up over the course of the spray season if you're not cleaning it regularly. And you want to wipe that down. Then after he's done wiping that down, what you'd want to do is take your garden hose and just spray off the body of the drone with a light misting of water. You don't want it to be too heavy. You don't want water to get into places, into electrical connections, because it can cause a short or damage to the electronics in the drone. All right, next we're going to show you how to disassemble the pumps. All right, now that we've got the drone inside, let's show you how to disassemble the pump. So the tools you're going to need is, your drone will come with a line wrench like this that's explicitly for these little hose nuts right here. You'll probably want a pair of channel locks just in case the actual connector nuts that hold the pumps on are too tight. And then you want a screwdriver set that at least has a 2.5 millimeter Allen head screwdriver, and a small Phillips head screwdriver. So let's get in here. First, I'm going to go ahead and just start unscrewing this. This is the part right here that you might need the channel locks for. And you'll want to start unscrewing this hose nut. You'll also want to make sure that your drone is off for this. And while you're cleaning this tank system out and cleaning your drone off for winterization, it's a great opportunity to inspect the drone over, check your arms, check your frame rails, check your props, check everything, and make sure that you don't need any other parts and that everything's in good condition for next spray season. We'll pull that off. Now this is where you'll need that 2.5 millimeter Allen head screwdriver. It'll go right on the end here. And take this cover off. This will allow you to pull this back cover off right here. That's what hides the plug for the pump. It's just a standard connection, just like everything else on the drone. You want to pop this strap off. That'll just pull off like that. Now you'll be able to grab the pump and pull it right off there. It does have a sealing ring right there, so it might be a little hard to get off there. So now we'll bring the pump out here, and I'll show you how to start disassembling that. So if you have a screwdriver set with different size Phillips head screwdrivers, this is a 1. So right here, you want to take out the screws right here that go in between the motor and the pump module right here. There should be 3 screws. You want to make sure not to lose these screws. They're pretty small. They're also incredibly easy to strip out if you're not using the correct size screwdriver. From the factory, they come with blue Loctite on them, and they can be incredibly tight. So they're very easy to strip out while you're doing this. So now that you've got those 3 screws out, that pump module will pull off of the pump motor. So first we're going to look at the pump motor. There's going to be a sealing ring up here around this base shaft right here. And there's going to be a sealing ring around the outside. This pump should not get any water in it. It shouldn't get anything on it. Here we can see it doesn't always work. There sometimes gets to be some residue in there. So if you're running anything corrosive, you'll want to take this off and check it for corrosion at the end of the season. This can cause pumps to go bad over time, and it's a very common point of failure for these pumps if not checked frequently and cleaned often. So if that has anything on it or you notice any corrosion, you can either clean it very well or order a new pump motor based off of your own discretion. So now we've got the pump module. This pump module is its own thing, but it can be disassembled by taking that. There's a little split here, and you'll want to pop that out right there, and it'll pull out. You want to clean in here very good, as well as you want to make sure to wash this impeller off with some water and check here and make sure that everything here is clean and not gummed up at all. You'll want to make sure to clean all that residue out. So you can use Dawn dish soap, a brush, or a rag of some sort. And assembly goes the exact same way as disassembly. There will be a little line there and there. You want to find where the gaps are. It'll pop right in, and then it'll twist, and you want those to be aligned. Sometimes it's easier to get it back on there when you put the motor back on. So to get the module aligned with the motor, there's going to be a little notch right here, and there'll be a notch right there that'll fit in there, and it'll push right in there, and then you can start putting your screws back in. You also want to make sure to inspect those O-rings before putting it back together to make sure they're in good condition and they will still seal properly. Alright, so we'll go back around here. So here, when you're going to reinstall this pump, you'll notice there's a thick notch right there at the top of the pump housing, and there's a thick notch that sticks out right here on this YT piece. So what you want to make sure to do is when you're reinstalling this pump, you'll want to wiggle it over there and make sure it presses firmly onto that sealing surface and that notch is in place properly. Then that will start to tighten down like that, and you'll notice your pump is in place. Then you're good to go ahead, reconnect that plug, replace that cover right there. Sometimes getting that cover can be a little tricky, getting it lined up. But you'll just want to go ahead and start that screw. Put both of those screws back in, and then you'll take and you'll push this hose back on like that. Make sure it's fully seated up against there, Then you'll take that hose nut, thread it back on there. You've disassembled, cleaned, and reassembled your pumps. It's now ready to go. Alright, so now that we've had the pumps disassembled, we've cleaned out our spray system, and we've cleaned our drone off, now we're going to want to run our RV antifreeze through the spray system and through the arm hoses. So Nathan, if you can go ahead and start filling it up. You don't need a lot, you don't need to fill the entire tank, anything like that. You'll just want to put a little bit in there, enough to where you can run and clear the trap there. If you want to save the antifreeze, what you can do is you can clear the trapped air and place buckets underneath. Are you kidding me? You're gonna have to clean that up. We got the floor cleaner. Man, this is bull. And you missed the spot. Alright, so we just want to run that out until it starts running the same color as the antifreeze. Alright, so now that we've got everything winterized, what you'll want to do for storage with the drone is you're going to want to keep the drone preferably in a climate controlled area. If that's not possible and you're worried about your tank freezing, you can easily remove your tank and store that in a climate controlled area because that's a lot smaller. But you'll want to make sure to store that in a place where you won't have to worry about rodents or anything getting into the wiring especially, or anything freezing. Even though you've ran that antifreeze in there, it's better to be on the safe side. With the LiPo batteries, you'll want to make sure to store those in the 40 to 60% range, preferably somewhere between 60 to 70 degrees if possible. And you won't want them to be stacked on top of each other, and you also will not want them to be stored on anything conductive. Now, within a 5-month period, you do have to charge the batteries up, deplete them all the way down to 5%, and then recharge them up with 110. You cannot fast charge when doing this process. It's not good for the batteries, and it's much better for the storage process to make sure that all the cells inside of the battery are roughly the same charge, to not cause one cell to be a higher charge than any other. That can cause internal problems for the battery, so you'll want to do it slow charge on 110 only. We recommend doing that every 3 months that it's going to be in storage, just to make sure that you do not void your warranty. If you do not do that within a 5-month period, you will void your warranty on the battery. To run through that process with the battery just one more time, the best way to do it is to charge it up on 110 all the way to 100%. Then you will want to put the battery in the drone, hover the drone until it is depleted down to 5%. Then you'll want to take the battery back out, and then you'll want to charge it again all the way back up to the charge that you want to store the battery at. So in that 40 to 60 range, probably closer to 60% rather than 40%. All right, so now that we've gotten through all of that, your drone is ready to be stored. You know how to store it. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to our tech line. And if you need any parts, if you notice anything broken on your drone when you're doing your inspection at the end of the year, feel free to use our online parts store at agrispraydrones.com. Thank you.